Hello, dear viewers. Welcome to Telling Tales and welcome to Symbaroum, a dark fantasy role-playing series. We hope that tonight, of all nights, maybe the horrors of Davokar will be a sanctuary to you, away from other things. So, without any further ado, let's bring on our stream manager, John. Say hello, John.
Hello,
John
John.
controls everything. Even, he's telling me what to say right now in my ear. That's what the earphones are for.
Stop talking about
me. So John will be helping us out. John will be in chat. John will be bouncing people back and forth and flashing apart and all that kind of thing. And we're very grateful to him for it. And now he can go away. Thank you. So we're going to introduce the players in a minute and do the recap as we do so. But before we do, the kind of admin you always have to have, social media, linked all down below. Our VODs can be found on YouTube, again, linked down below. That was a big symbol flashing up on the screen. And also, we've got a Patreon down below. We're affiliate now, so if you want to hit subscribe, that is most welcome. And I think that's everything. So let's start bringing on the players and doing a bit of recap with them. John says he pressed the wrong button. I gathered that. I thought it wasn't like a planned thing to just replace me with a kind of image of a campfire. Although maybe, who's to say they wouldn't do better? Let's bring on Sam first. Sam plays Ascarai, our changeling ranger. I say this every time. Rangeling. The rangeling.
Read on.
That's it. Absolutely. So your group at the moment are investigating murders carried out by the mysterious Flayer in the town of Thistlehold. And last time, where we picked up, I think he carried over from the session before, but you were at Master Vernum's academy, where you'd found Master Vernum in something of an unfortunate state.
Bit of a pickle.
Yeah,
he was basically flayed. And we found his flayed body strung up on his kind of paper drying cords or string.
Happy times.
It was pretty brutal. And I think last session we basically went, because Ascar had just returned to the scene of this horrible murder. And we basically went over what we discovered, but also we had Balmello with us, who...
The witch hunter.
He had his own kind of look around.
Using a weird psychic slave boy on a chain.
Yeah. Which was a little strange, but it worked out for him. So whatever works.
Don't judge.
Yeah. He did find a thing which basically symbolized Vernum's attachment to the elves. Is kind of not perhaps a member of the Iron Pact, or at least close to the Iron Pact.
At least an associate, yeah.
Yeah, and we also then kind of confirmed that he'd been seeing an elf who just that morning, and then Balmello also revealed to us that the skin was elf skin. So,
which is you kind of starting to piece together as a group that maybe the skins that are being found do not match the bodies that are being found in some way.
Yeah.
So there we go. And then the group proceeded from there, more or less, to the corpse examiner of the town guard. And let's bring Steo in and find out what happened at the corpse examiner.
So we met Elantro and Edigai, the battled corpse examiner, and his apprentice, who's much better than him, and give them a kind of overview of what I discovered based on very little formal training, but some good rolls. And basically, not only is this the skin disparity existed on throughout this string of murders, so there's something weird going on with skin. And all the glands are missing from all the victims. And I made the jump to the conclusion that maybe there's some kind of skin borrowing friend who's very pleased to see you and wants to borrow your skin for a while on the loose.
Sure, based on mythology from near Davakar, or maybe from further afield, that you made up.
Yeah, on the fly because
on the fly.
I didn't want to go. Hey, I saw this on Buffy once.
Yeah, I think I referred to it on Discord later as the narrative equivalent of decapitating the boss in the first hit.
Yeah, but we don't know who. So right now,
no, absolutely.
Steel believes that it's the guy who has a painting of himself in his own office. There's another version of him walking around with malicious intent.
Sure. And I believe the conclusion you reached from speaking to the corpse examiner's apprentice is that each body is basically found with the skin of the previous victim.
Yeah,
because that skin is shed, and then in the new skin, perhaps, according to these mysterious legends you read, perhaps then used to shapeshift. So from there, you proceeded on to talk to Captain Marvello, the captain of the city guard who had actually shown an interest in the brutal slayings. And why don't we bring on Elle, who plays Ephenea, our mighty barbarian warrior. And she can let us know what happened with Marvello.
Yeah, so, we went to see Marvello to have a bit of a chit-chat and a bit of a, hey, your boy's dead and flayed, in which he... basically, we showed him the letter that we'd found in the room that was a correspondence between Vernum and I've completely forgotten his name. I know it has Black in it, and that's about the extent of my knowledge.
The mayor, Lassifor Night Pitch.
Night, Black, same thing, right?
And there's lots of nights and dark and black and things in.
So there we go. Night Pitch. And... kind of, showed it to Marvello and said, Night Pitch is somehow involved in this. To which he promptly told us to shut our mouths and never speak of it again, if we had any good sense.
I think he kind of gently encouraged you to maybe go see Night Pitch about it, but also not to tell anyone that you thought Night Pitch was involved.
Yeah, that's the gist of it. Basically, go handle it discreetly, which I'm sure Ephenea will have no problem with, as she is obviously the most discreet of people.
Discreet and subtle, especially in combat.
Exactly. 100% does not leave decapitated bodies in the middle of the street.
No,
never. But yeah, other than that, he basically just gave us a list of eyewitness reports to the murders that had been going on, and as I recall it, we were basically just heading into a pub to discuss said eyewitness reports over drinks with Baumello.
With Baumello. And speaking of Baumello, let's have Anton on, played by Mike. Mike, you'd been sent to Glimmervan by the Church of Prios, your bosses, to basically find out what was taking Baumello so goddamn long to get back to Thistlehold, what his business was in Glimmervan, and why he'd sent these thuggish individuals to Thistlehold to mess around with stuff. Why don't you tell us what happened when you got there?
Well, what didn't happen? So I found out that Baumello wasn't very popular there. I was told that Baumello had returned to Thistlehold, and then in a sort of a basement of a sort of a ruined, recently burned down building, I made a shocking discovery.
You did, that a burnt down building that apparently Baumello had burnt down, or had burnt down by his thugs. Yeah.
And the shocking discovery was that Baumello's corpse was lying in that building.
Many, many, many times in the back. With that in mind, let's... Thanks for coming on, Mike. See you later. We'll shuffle Mike off. And the others are in the Witch and Familiar, your regular haunt, the kind of barbarian-run tavern, adorned with moss and many stuffed animals. And as you walk in there, who should be waiting for you at a table other than Baumello?
Who is definitely Baumello, 100%.
Yeah,
100% Baumello. Pure 100% Baumello.
I can't believe it's not Baumello.
I suppose he hasn't.
There he
I
is.
suppose he hasn't got around in by any chance, has he?
He has not, but when you come in, he tosses, let's say, Steo a coin, being as you asked about it. It's definitely enough to pay for drinks for all three of you.
Cool.
Nice.
I will get drinks. I'll put some of my own money into like just some snacks.
Sure.
And
Sure.
come back to the
your
table.
mercenary.
Okay, as you, I take it you're all. See, I've mentioned a table without entirely forgetting the Witch and Familiar doesn't have tables. You sit around in a more kind of barbarians in the woods style. So he's kind of just sat cross-legged in a corner. Presumably, you all sit down near him. Yeah, he says, "Well, again, I feel the need to. I feel that you require an apology, my friends. My companions who you had the conflict with in the street, they are used to corrupt villages on the edges of Davokar and not the complexities that come with operating in a town like Thistlehold. So, again, apologies. I hope we can put that unpleasant business behind us."
Oh, certainly, they didn't cause us too much trouble. In fairness,
Although they may want to watch out they don't cause too much more, because it seems like the guard are not overly happy.
Yes, well, I have made sure that they curtail their more aggressive activities for now.
so Balmello, this I still have not got my head round why Master Vernum had an elf ring.
Would that I could answer myself, but it seems like perhaps our friendly scholar was a member of the Iron Pact.
In league. God. It's like my pappy told me, never trust a man who has a portrait of himself in his own office.
My pappy said the same thing.
So many pappies. Hashtag so many pappies. He says, well, Vernum would not be the first human to fall in league with the elves, but perhaps the first Ambrian.
Oh.
Many witches belong to the Iron Pact. Did you not know?
Oh, this kind of forest politics is above my head.
So what have you found? I believe you parted ways with Balmello after Master Vernum's Academy, so everything since then is unbeknown to him.
Well, we made our reports to the guards, filled in some of the gaps that they've got in the official case. We did, we'll take out the witness reports. We did get these, and no one's told me not to show them to people outside of the guard, so if everyone wants to stick them on the table, stick them on the not table.
Mm-hmm. They are ordered in date, and I believe you fine players have a copy of them now, hovering in our private Discord. So why don't we go round and why don't you read them out one by one? Because that's more entertaining than me reading them out, isn't it? So being as Steo was already talking, shall we have Steo reading the first one out?
Victim number 1. All right, so I'll read this out. It just lay there in the alley opening. People must have passed it by thinking it was slaughterhouse waste, but I noted that it was freshly butchered. And when I came over, I saw it was human. I lost my dinner and I called for the town watch. That's a medicus by the name of Merkilo. So at least I'm not the only one to lose my lunch over that stuff.
Balmello raises an eye and says, sounds like an awful medicus.
Yeah, well.
Why don't we have the second one read by Askarai?
Okay. Victim 2. The body hung like a slaughtered animal. I thought it had a strange place for tendering beef, but there was another man close by, a rough type. Looked like a hunter, so I didn't think much of it. But the day after, I heard about the murder and went to tell the town watch about my observations. What if it was the killer I saw, the huntsman? He looked like just anyone. Unbelievable that such darkness, such raging blackness, can be hidden within a human being. And that's Theoden, an innkeeper.
And then let's have the statement on victim number 3 from Ephenea, please.
So Ephenea is holding her paper and kind of passes it kind of sheepishly to Steo. And says, well, Pappy never taught me to read. He said it wasn't important.
That's all right.
Definitely not Ambrian script.
That's all right. Worse people can read. Oh, okay. Victim number 3. It wasn't a body, more like a pile of meat, as if someone had torn the person apart one sliver at a time. I threw up and ran home. I threw up even though I'm used to skin and tanning. Oh, I shouldn't have got food. Still, I vomited. On the way home, I bumped into a woman who seemed as surprised as me. I tried to warn her about what was in the alley. Don't know if she heard me. Anyway, I ran straight to the town watch. Delker, who's a tanner, apprentice tanner.
And perhaps the final one from Ascarai.
Victim 4. It smelled strange and I got suspicious. Why the smell of slaughterhouse from a hen house? The town watch told me what was in there, but I never saw it myself. Life doesn't get better from seeing such things. I saw no one in the vicinity. That's Albogd, a spice peddler.
Brief. Very brief.
Barmella says, there does not seem to be an abundance of evidence there.
No, nor a description of the killer.
Seems just to be information that we basically already knew. Oh, does Balmella know about the skin swapping yet? I can't remember. We didn't tell him that, did we?
No.
So at this point, Ephenea will just kind of pipe up with, another thing that we learnt, aside from these statements, is that it wasn't just our friend who had mismatched skin. Upon speaking to the corpse examiner, every single person that was found, their skin did not belong to them. We surmise it was from the person before them. And Steele had some thoughts about it, but it just seems awash with dark magic, really.
Balmello leans forward and says, good guardsman Steo, do you have notions that we are dealing with a shapeshifter?
Oh, you're as smart as I am, Balmello. I have no knowledge of these things, but I do remember some stories from my childhood, from my granny in the south.
There are.
It just matches. It just matches.
There are certain rituals to allow for such things. Obviously, a great deal of the time, it would be preferable to have more innate abilities like those of our half-breed companion here.
I feel even with my innate abilities, I couldn't do some of this.
You have heard tell of changelings who have a great deal more control over the form of their shape-shifting than you, but clearly whoever this was not using that, right?
Yeah.
So
they leave the skin behind, so
yeah, like if we go and find all of the skin and lay it all out, and some of this is going to be 2 weeks old at this stage, is it? Is my time right there, Matt? How long has it been going on? Some of this is going to be 2 weeks old. It's basically going to be spudge. If we line all this up and like figure out the chain of shifts, if that's even what's happening, would we have a I don't even know how this works. Maybe we need.
It is worth noting, by the way, that also on the, I mean, it should be on the thing I clicked for you, but for some reason they put the information in another section. It does give you the names of the victims.
Yeah.
Which is obviously the skins, not the bodies.
Okay.
So make of that what you will. They have the first victim named as Garrick, a trapper. Victim number 2 is listed as Len, a treasure hunter. Victim number 3 is Shanda, a barmaid. And victim number 4 is Teoman, a chimney sweep.
Okay.
And obviously, presumably, victim number 5 is, whose body has not yet been found, is the elf, maybe an elf.
No.
The people we spoke to in the corpse examiner kind of suggested that this would make them think there's possibly 2 more bodies that haven't been found. One of this elf and whoever the first death was since.
Barmello kind of taps on the witness statement and says, someone called Garrick, by the looks of it.
Why does that name ring a bell?
I wouldn't know.
Purely in the interest of GM thing. There is someone called Gorak involved in this, but not Garrick. So I don't know if you're confusing with them.
I was. But in character, so is Theo.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, we know Lem is this treasure hunter who went and found the crown.
Yes, that's the bell that should have been rung.
And we know, obviously, Master Vernon was kind of investigating it.
So once again, it all seems to... It's not unrelated. It all seems to fall back to do with this crown. It just seems that ever since we stumbled across those brothers, it's just all been connected to this bastard crown.
But here's the thing. All of the... Right, anyone who touches that crown turns into something awful and must be put down. But it's not a shape changer. Like, it's not methodical. They're not moving through the city and doing careful murders. Do you know what? I think that this is someone from the Iron Pact moving through the people of the crown, like those 2 elves we met that night. Well, we killed both of them, I think.
One. You killed one in the city and one outside the city, and there was another one who survived.
And the elves in the field who came to take care of the abominations. It sounds like the Iron Pact might be the third party here that's working through the people who touched the crown and putting them down. In which case, we're at cross purposes. That's
why
fine
would
for
they?
me.
But why would they flay them? And why would they kill Vernon, who seemed to be investigating it?
And was involved with the Iron Pact.
Look, elves do what they want. I don't know.
I think a more worrying answer is that this person is looking for the crown or trying to help someone who has it.
Oh, that would complicate things.
Perhaps, I think someone who can do this clearly must be quite corrupted, maybe it's possible they think they can use the crown themselves without becoming an abomination, or I don't know. It seems, I think that is what we really have to worry about.
Well, our next lead for this, and at this point I'm gonna kind of cast a glance at Steel and Ascari that's kind of like do we tell him before?
Am I gonna? Can I make? Do you want me to make a roll to notice that, Matt, or can I notice that with?
You can notice that. It's fine.
Yeah, if I notice that, I'm giving you a please God don't, because we did have the discussion in the guard send about not giving this guy information prior to the big reveal last week that we should not be giving away stuff for free. And remember the warning we got from the captain of the guard not to let anything, to be tight-lipped about that specific thing. So you're getting that look from me.
So yeah, I'll kind of go, oh well, I guess our next lead would be and I'll just shrug. I'm not paid to think. I'm paid to beat people up in the street if they're misbehaving. This is all so above my pay grade and my brain.
At the end of the day, lads, we're not detectives. We're not being officially paid for this. We've made our report. I suppose we wait and see what victim comes in tomorrow and see if we can make a triangulation or something. But I'm going to be honest with you, this is the most gruesome series of murders in Thistlehold in the last couple of years, but it ain't the only one.
Well, Balmello, what about you? Have you ever seen anything like this before? I feel you would have more experience with this type of thing than us.
I've certainly seen many similar dark rituals being carried out. This exact one? No.
Do you have any theories about how it relates to this elf and the Iron Pact, or
And that bloody crown?
yeah?
I have a feeling that perhaps either it is an individual corrupted by the crown, or, as you say, Ascarai, someone is hunting the crown for themselves. And needs must we get to it before they do.
I'm inclined to believe Ascarai's turn of events because, as of yet, we are yet to see someone corrupted by the crown that doesn't just turn into an abomination.
Yeah.
And abominations don't seem to have the thinking capacity to act like this and not be caught.
And in fairness, our luck is not good enough for it to be some kind of elven peacekeeping force.
Well then, Balmello stands up. I will leave you to ponder your next steps. If you put word out in the street, you can find me again easily. Or I will come find you. He finishes his drink. And then perhaps we can share more information that we have discovered.
Sounds good. Thanks for the drink and stay safe out there.
He tips his hat and says, "Friends," and walks out of the door.
So, what are we going to do tomorrow?
We should see Night Pitch, since we're the only people that know about it.
Jesus.
It's just getting bigger and bigger. I think we need to get Night Pitch's attention, and he needs to get involved in this, because this is it's becoming too big for just mere guild members to be dealing with. If anything, he might be able to get us some help.
We could really use knowledge about Gorak, and maybe the mayor has that. Where he is, where he went.
Apparently Gorak went to see him. So.
And he was in contact with Vernon last. Well, potentially. And hell,
Vernon was certainly trying to contact Night Pitch.
Mm.
We might even be able to get some decent coin off him. He is the mayor. I mean, not that I'm suggesting that he pays for our silence, but...
Suggest away. I'll take any money I can, but taking it off Night Pitch, going to Night Pitch, speaking to Night Pitch, look, if you two want to do it, I'll come along. I've not been in that compound before, but God, nothing good comes out of there.
Well, I'd like you by our side. You're a decent fighter, if worst comes to worst.
I'm not Night Pitch, though. And his guard, his bodyguards would mop us up. Yeah.
Well, on that note, I think perhaps the group parts ways for the evening. Well, Ascarai doesn't. He just you still part way. You just stay where you are because you're sleeping with the Witch of Familiar, and perhaps go to bed. Where do you agree to meet in the morning?
Just in front of
If
the
you want
tavern,
to, I don't want to speak for you.
Oh yeah, back here. Yeah.
Witch of Familiar
Yeah.
again. Excellent. In that case, let us leap quite a few miles to the west to Glimmervan. Let's shuffle all these guys off and bring Mike back on for an exciting evening in Glimmervan. So yeah, you're stood in the basement of the burning building. You're looking at the body of Baumello, who seems to have been stabbed in the back a great many times and left here partially burned to rot for definitely a number of days now.
Right.
Outside, I believe, is one of the headmen of the village, who I believe is called Demion.
Yep. Okay. Well, before I call Demion, I'm going to just investigate a little bit more of the corpse. I'm going to see what else I can find about the body.
Sure.
See if there's anything, any belongings, any possessions. Not that I'm looking to like loot him, but
Sure. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Just find if there's anything on him.
Well, it's dark down here, and you're quite taken aback. Hang on, is this morning? Did you sleep overnight first?
Yeah, it's morning.
I think you did. This is actually the next morning
I took
from then,
a
isn't it?
torch into the basement. I think I ripped my clothes.
It's still quite dark down here, I'd say, though. So, and you're quite taken aback. So, I'd say a vigilant roll at -2. We'll sort us.
Hey, I make it.
Okay. So bits of information you pick up from the body. I mean, as I say, you're a theurg. You're used to dead bodies. This body has been here, you'd say, for over a week. Really quite unpleasant. It's very obvious how he died. He was knifed many times, and then the bottom of his body is kind of burnt, but you suspect that happened after. He has no clothes on. You can see no possessions or anything like that.
Okay.
So,
is it about a week ago that the building burned down then? So the order of events, looks to be
it seems to be fairly clear.
Stabbing.
Yeah. Baumello arrived, presumably went in to try and clear the place out of this small cult. And then perhaps the person who emerged with the cult prisoners, was not actually Baumello.
Yeah. Okay.
Either that or there's a really elaborate bait and switch here where this is somehow the shapeshifted body, but that seems very unlikely to you.
Yeah. I don't think that Anselm's mind would
no
go there. I mean, as far as Anselm knows, there is one Baumello and Baumello is dead.
Yes, actually, absolutely. That's the case. The only indication you have that there's any kind of chicanery going at all is that Demion and Variol of Glimmervan told you that Baumello left, and specifically said they saw him leave.
Yeah. So now seems like a good time to shout to Demion and sort of bring him down to show him.
He kind of stumps to the top of the stairs and says, "Did you call, priest?"
Demion, you need to see this.
He kind of clambers down the stairs and peers around and says, "Oh, Prios teeth. Is that one of the cult?"
This is Baumello, the witch hunter, who
what?
I think you previously believed had returned to Thistlehold, but I can assure you, I swear by Prios, that this is him. I don't know him well, but I knew him enough to say that this is his body.
He kind of walks over and kind of holding the back of his hand to his face and kind of peers at what is left of Baumello's face and says, "Oh, by the forest, it is the man. But what? How? We saw him leave. Clear as day. With his men that he brought. And the cultists as prisoners.
When did they leave? Well, to take me through this step by step.
Oh,
Barmello arrives in Glimmervan. Barmello,
yes, in the fresh air, if you please.
Sure. We'll talk as we walk out of the building.
He comes up and says, "It was maybe 2 weeks past. He came here. He was only here for a couple of nights, investigating reports he'd had, tales of witchcraft and people having truck with demons. Then he found out about Adarko and his family, his friends up here. Investigated them briefly, then declared that they were corrupted. He went in at first and then came out and declared that the whole place should be burned and there were prisoners to be taken. His men set fire, they brought the prisoners out, and then they left."
You saw him leave. You saw...
I saw that man down there leave. In his own clothes.
Prios, I don't understand this. Okay. Okay.
Is it
Tell
some
me,
kind of magic?
I know that Barmello was not well liked. I know that he's not a popular man in Glimmervan. Do you know of anyone who hated him to the extent that they would do that to him?
I barely know of the man, but I confess I do not know what Adarko is capable of. We thought him merely to be playing at witchcraft and trickery. He grew up here. But clearly this has all gone beyond his youthful tricks.
Tell me about Adarko. What manner of man is he?
He fancies himself a soothsayer and a hedge mage. We thought it all talk humoured him, but he attracted some other youths of the village to him and some random travellers. And they took up residence here in the storehouse. They did all the lifting back and forth from the village, so we paid them no mind. Truth be told, there was a lot of mockery towards them in the tavern of an evening. But when Barmello came, we thought they might be taken away. Perhaps one or two of them would be executed, but
do you believe him to be capable of doing a crime like this and capable of disguising himself as the man?
I honestly, I do not know. He mostly stayed to himself and his friends. Sometimes there were, sometimes there were strange noises in the night.
That was my dog.
Yeah, strange. But perhaps that was his dog. Fearsome labradoodle. But there were noises in the night. I can't do that bit now. I can't do it. It's gone.
Okay.
Too much corpsing. Ironically.
This is a worrisome turn of events. Okay. I thank you for your honesty there. And I was doing fine there, but then I looked up at you and you had a cheeky grin on your face.
That's my bad. To be fair, I very nearly spat water all over the monitor. So.
Okay. I think I must return. I will finish my responsibilities. I gave you my word that I would bless the stones of this building. I will give Barmello his last rites, and then I will return to the inn before I set off to Thistlehold.
He nods and says, "I'll fetch the gravedigger to bring him out."
You're a good man.
Back down the hill. I take it you're going to carry out your blessings, and then yeah, sure. Okay, that's probably going to take some time, and I think that as well, kind of if you carry out the last rites and before his body is taken. I don't entirely know, but I'm going to assume that followers of Prios are cremated. It would seem
that would
appropriate,
be logical, right?
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
In that case, the gravedigger, so not a gravedigger, I suppose, but the man who takes care of these things, constructs a pyre, and there are very few of the villagers there to watch. But Barmello's body is laid on the fire, and the smoke kind of drifts up into a very overcast afternoon sky. After you've taken care of this business, do you think you'll head straight back to Thistlehold, or are you going to do more in Glimmervan?
Well, I think that I would have to see how much time I have, because it took me the best part of a day to.
It did. But you did not have a horse. Yeah.
But I did not have a horse. But then I think you said it was an afternoon sky just then. So
yeah,
I still want to not get caught out by the darkness.
Sure.
And I think the day's events may have probably shaken me a little bit, because I don't know very many people in this part of the world, and I've just found one of them horribly stabbed. Yeah,
sure. And of course, as far as you're aware, there's no imminent danger to your companions whatsoever.
Well, I think at this point I might think that there would be not imminent danger, but a cause for concern, because I think that, someone like, Barmello being murdered, not great news. Barmello being murdered and then somebody impersonating him is a little bit more worrisome.
News.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I think I will head back to the inn, and then sort of make a decision from there as to whether I'm going to return or stay.
Well, it's about a 4-hour ride, and you would if you ride hard. And you would definitely be able to get back to Thistlehold today, but it would be after dark. Like about half your journey would be in the dark. So it's entirely up to you. But you know what? You seem to be pondering this decision. So let's give you some time to make it. Bye, Mike. Mike, get rid of him. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. Bring everyone back. Either that. No, it's just me telling the story for the rest of the session. So the following morning, the witch and familiar, Ephanea, Steo, Ascarai, you're there.
Right, I suppose we should, get this over with. I'm sure you're anxious to, right, Steo?
Okay, look, we agreed it last night. I want nothing to do with this guy. I didn't even want to talk to the guard captain. I suppose we should go to the gate and ask Rai or Effie if you want to tell them that we need to speak to Night Pitch concerning matters of the crown, perhaps.
Maybe we could show them the letter.
I'm not showing that to any guard. Honestly, I don't want... I'll fetch it and bring it, but that's not our ticket for entry. That's something we put into his hands only.
Well, they might not be that willing to let us in, is my thought. I'm sure he's...
Well, we can only try.
Yeah, let's test the waters, because that's... You're not wrong. We don't want... This place looks solid, but it's balanced on a knife edge, and knife pitch is the edge of that blade. If something were to happen to him, a lot of deep politics would start going wrong very quickly, and that's not something I want to have to mop up after.
So I take it you are setting off from the Witch and Familiar and heading to the south part of the city, right at the south wall, in fact, to Lassifor Nightpitch's home, known appropriately as Night Home.
I'm picking up the letter, though, on the way.
Sure, pick up the letter on the way. Night Home is a fairly large wooden 3-story house with kind of some kind of expansive area on the top of it where vegetation can be seen even from the street. It sits on top of a gentle hill, a gentle grassy hill, which is fenced off by itself with fairly largish walls, and has a single gate which Nightpitch's guards are on at all times. As you wander up to it, the one of the guards kind of looks in you because you're quite clearly wandering over, I would imagine, unless you want to do some kind of sneakiness.
Not yet.
No. She kind of looks you up and down as you walk over and kind of nudges her companion, who kind of starts awake a bit more.
I'll just raise my hand in a friendly gesture and say, "Look, ho there. We're requesting an audience with Mayor Nightpitch regarding the recent incidents with the flare. We have important information that we believe he'd like to know."
She says, "Oh, you're here to confess?" The other one goes.
That'll actually get a bit of a chuckle out of me, although I am hanging back.
I'm just going to kind of roll my eyes and say no, but we have been assigned by the local guard and also the guild to look into the matter, and I would hate for the two of you to lose your jobs because another murder happened that could have been prevented because you didn't want to let us in.
Ooh. You know what? Give me a persuasive roll there, please, Elle. And you can have... I think the situation gives you minuses, but you know what? You phrase that really well, so let's leave it as just a flat persuasive roll.
Right. Oh no, my physical dice are in a suitcase, so I'm going to actually have to use an online dice roller. That's upsetting. I am slumming it. It's very upsetting. And I make it.
Hey,
Nice.
the guard you were talking to kind of... All right, but just be aware, you might get into a little bit of trouble if you're wasting his time. Weapons?
I'll happily, well, not happily, but I'll pass them over. Be careful of the sword. It's new.
Yes, it's a magic sword. she takes it off you and puts it in the they take all the weapons the guard has. Is anyone trying to conceal any of their weapons?
Not worth it.
No,
I guess not. Maybe my dagger.
No, your dagger. Okay. Well, why don't you give me a discreet roll? Difficulty. Let's put a -2 on it because they're quite vigilant. There's a reason they're night homes guards, right?
All right. I rolled a 1.
Okay. Yeah, that knife is just wedged into your armpit.
Good. I'm glad it's wedged there and not anywhere else.
Well, yes. Chris can't deal with the armpit knife. So, yes, you are escorted. Kind of, the guy stays on the gate, and the woman escorts you up the gentle hill to Night Home. As you approach, you can kind of smell like an odd herbal smell, not that one, coming off from Night Home itself, and kind of a smell of rich vegetation that seems to be wafting from the building. You walk in through the main doors, and the guard points to a door in the entrance hallway, which doesn't look that grand, or it looks like maybe there's a larger hallway down at the end of the corridor. Points to a door on one side and says, "In there, nowhere else."
Of course.
You walk in, and it seems to be like a very large study that has a large circular table that has a number of chairs around it. One wall has a large window which faces out onto the front where you've just come from, and the other walls have a variety of kind of large, ornate-looking tapestries, very old-looking ones dangling on. Tapestries dangling, hung along the walls, and dotted kind of in between them are odd carved wooden masks that have been mounted onto the wall as well.
Are the tapestries Ambrian, or is there kind of Symbaric
Oh,
text
they
on
are
them?
definitely not Ambrian.
Oh,
Yeah,
spooky.
there is text, odd, as you say, Symbaric. Is that actually the word they use, or did you just wonderfully make that up?
I just pulled it together.
Sure, Symbaric text on them and odd designs. Yes. Is there anything anyone's doing while you're waiting?
Do want to kind of, I assume that because this is a study, there'll be kind of books around.
There are some, there are some bookshelves with books scattered on them in what seems to be quite a haphazard fashion.
I'd like to just kind of cast my eye over ones that seem recently disturbed, just looking for titles, not kind of raffling through them.
Sure. I mean, you have enough time to just kind of look. None of them seem to be about kind of magic lore of any kind. They seem to be kind of slightly weighty, perhaps Ordo Magica tomes out, Davakar, Symbaroum treatises on the culture of the elves, even a couple of books that are basically, gardening. Yes.
Okay.
Nothing like how to wear people's skin by Last of Night Pitch. Nothing like that.
Stealing for dummies.
Yeah, there's nothing that seems incriminating in any way whatsoever.
I think I just want to be looking at the tapestries as well, just while it's going on, just because pretty pictures probably.
And you definitely recognize them as you grew up in Davakar. You've seen lots of symbology and things like this. Symbaric does indeed appear within the rulebook, says Steve.
There's my
nice.
natural one for the evening.
Nice.
So I kind
your
of like,
mental natural one.
Yeah. So I'll be like kind of uneasy and generally in awe, and kind of like, well, lads, I never thought I'd see the inside of this place, and I hope I get to see the outside of it again.
At this point, I am just going to turn to Steel and just be like, is he that bad? What's your truck with him? I've
no truck with the man. I mean, he built the place.
At that point, the door opens.
Perfect.
And two individuals walk in. One is clearly Last Fortnight Pitcher. You may have seen anyway, walking around town and the like. John, I believe we have an image of Last Fortnight Pitch, which I can't remember if I asked you to prepare tonight, but hopefully isn't too far away.
I'm on tenterhooks.
Absolutely. Hey, there we go.
There we go.
There he is, Last Fortnight Pitch. I don't need to describe him, but I will anyway. He's a man of medium height, rather unassuming looking, as you can see. He's very much balding, with the hair around the edges goes down to kind of just above his collar. He has a rather fairly nicely groomed beard, although and mustache, though it's a little tangled, and he's wearing a kind of you're not exactly sure what style it is. Maybe perhaps it's a nobleman's robe, but it also seems a bit odd, and there's some kind of Symbaric symbology on that as well. Walking behind him, which we don't have a picture of, unfortunately, is a woman shrouded head to toe in sort of slightly webbed black clothing, wearing a kind of veil, and with her hands kind of folded across her chest like that. Any of you who've lived in Thistlehold regularly for a fair amount of time will know that this woman is almost undoubtedly Yagaba, who is Night Pitch's friend, lover, partner, who is rumored to be a witch of the barbarian clans.
I will, on seeing them, I will kind of almost instinctively make a bow as I would to a noble, and then kind of catch myself halfway through and kind of awkwardly realign myself.
Night Pitch glances over at you. He seems his attitude, what am I looking for? Demeanor. His demeanor seems very casual. He glances over at you as you do that and goes, da, 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 da. And he walks over to a cabinet, opens it, gets out a glass, fills it with wine, places it on the table, gets another glass, fills it with wine, and does so until there are 4 glasses of wine on the table, picks up one and goes, gestures towards the wine with the glass he's holding in an obvious, yeah, go on.
Yeah, I'll toast to him and try this expensive fluid.
Yeah.
Take some so as not to offend, basically.
If any of you have any kind of taste for wine, this is very good wine. It's
I have no taste for wine. It is an alcohol.
It's like a pale gold, traditionally Ambrian wine. And he says, well, apparently something about this flayer. He throws himself in a chair and kind of rests his... I was going to act it out, but I might bash the cat off the thing. He puts his boots up on the circular table, kind of gestures for you to sit down.
Sit.
So
I've got a busy day ahead of me.
Okay, well, we do not wish to waste your time. It is to do with the Flayer, Flayer, both yes and no. So you may or may not be aware his most recent victim was Master Vernum. And can I look and see if there's any change in Night Pitch's facial expression at all when I mention the name? Or
give me a vigilant roll. Sorry. Night Pitch plays his cards quite close to his chest, so I'm going to give you a -4 on it.
Yikes. Let's see, what do I got? Lovely, 6. I've got to do that. Let's do that, I guess. Roll. Yeah, no, I do not make that.
You have no idea.
Okay, and so I'll continue. I'm not going to beat around the bush here. I know you're a busy man. Steel.
I'll
Shall we show him?
reach into my pocket and take out the piece of work. Master Vernum had prepared this for you moments, I believe, before he was killed.
He takes it off you and goes, Guardsman, aren't you?
Former heavy infantry, currently.
I just work with the guild.
He unrolls the letter, and there's a moment while he reads it. Gorak. And the copper crown. He rolls it up and passes the letter to Yagaba, who kind of takes it and shrouds it in her robe.
We've made no copies, and we will not be talking about its contents. But we have had experience with the people who have been tainted by that crown, and with how difficult they are to dispatch of.
Yes. I heard that you travelled out of the city with the witch hunter Baumello a couple of weeks ago to track a couple of rogue members, perhaps the last rogue members of Gorak's little party.
If we are lucky, they will be the last, yes, sir.
You think otherwise?
I've no evidence but we suspect. Well, anyone who touched that thing is going to be difficult to keep quiet about it for long, I suppose.
Yes. Which I suppose is why you're here.
Well, that and we suspect that the flare might be some kind of skin changer.
So, let's not stand on any kind of ceremony. This letter that you just passed me says that Gorak came here with his crown, yes? And undoubtedly it's passed through your heads that what if silly old Night Pitch got himself corrupted by this demonic influence from the dark bowels of Davakar?
Don't know much about you, sir, but you're a wise man. And not want to be fooling with objects from the forest that are not well identified.
I certainly would not be sitting here today if I touched everything shown to me or that I dug up in the forest myself. Gorak came here with his changeling. I can't think of a polite term. Lover, perhaps. And they were very keen to get both approval for their discovery and safe haven. Members of their party had already started disappearing. It was really quite clear what was happening. The walls of Thistlehold are not sacrosanct. We are aware that we get visitors who sometimes deal with these things, and clearly that was happening. Moreover, Gorak seemed slightly unhinged by the experience, and the Copper Crown was clearly practicing some kind of foul corruption on him. But unfortunately, before I could order him secured away for his own safety, he disappeared, along with his changeling.
And the crown?
And the crown.
Oh, Prios's teeth.
I think Vernum's on the right track, and I think you are too.
So now we have to find out what skin this flayer's wearing right now.
Seems to me they may likely be wearing Master Vernum's.
That would make sense.
So we go.
Ask yourself this. Do you think these killings are random? Or do you think they are targeted?
It seems coincidental that people such as Vernum, who have knowledge of the Copper Crown, would be flayed. It's hard to...
Doesn't it just?
It's hard to believe it was not planned.
And therefore, if this killer is, as you suggest, carrying out some kind of magic and wearing the forms of their victims, why did they pick Vernum?
Is Night Pitch wearing gloves?
No.
What does he have on his fingers?
He does not have an iron ring on his fingers.
Okay. Just checking.
Did they give any sense of what their plans were if you were to refuse them safe haven?
No. At this point, I think they were still quite confident in their power to resist the forces arrayed against them. But again, I ask you, why Vernum? Where could Vernum go that they could not?
Davakar.
The Ordo Magica. Oh, God.
It has been a most elucidating talk. He stands up. And yes, if this is closed to the satisfaction of all, including Guard Captain Marvello, I will ensure that some dispensation is made from the coffers of Nightholm.
Oh, you're very kind, sir.
Thank you, Night Pitch.
He holds an arm towards the door in a kind of...
Yeah.
Get up and
You're You're much nicer than the rumors would have us believe, sir. Thank you for your hospitality.
He raises an eyebrow at that a little and kind of closes the door after you. The guard who brought you in goes, right, that's it then. Off you go.
Collect our weapons, hopefully.
Absolutely.
Right.
All right.
I think we know where we have to go.
Right. First off, let's get away from the compound. Let's head towards, I don't know, salons
The
or
Witching
whatever.
Familiar.
Yeah. Or maybe let's not go there specifically.
In case you want to know, the Ordo Magica is literally like a minute from Night Home. It's like intentionally it's in that affluent area of the city. So should you want to go there quickly in any way, you can do that very easily.
Do we make a house call now, or do we go and...
I say we may as well not beat around the bush since we're in the area. And the quicker we visit Ordo Magica, the quicker this may get resolved. I'd rather there be few deaths upon the streets of Thistlehold.
Agreed. We might... Well, it'll be too much to us to catch someone in the act, but the sooner we're there, the better.
Yeah, look, lads, if we go up against this thing, I want to go with at least 5 or 6 more guards. I don't know how strong this thing is, but it's already killed 5 or 6 people. So Ordo Magica. Let's just see if Marvello, with very obvious...
Balmello.
Or, no, yeah.
No.
Let's see if Marvello was called in recently, shall we? Or Vernum, sorry. Let's see if Vernum's called in recently, shall we?
Aye.
Okay, so you head along to the Ordo Magica Tower. As I say, it's very close to Nighthome. It is a large, very large wooden tower, 7 stories tall. It's the tallest building in Thistlehold, apart from the beacon. And it's surrounded by large gardens where at this time of day and at most times of day, apprentices of the Ordo Magica are busy kind of like cultivating, growing things, harvesting things for use in their magics and their scientific studies. The apprentices kind of eye you curiously as you kind of walk along by the fencing and presumably round to the front. And as you do so, a figure dressed all in black steps out from the kind of people walking around the Ordo Magica, has a couple of pace forwards and says, well, it seems that perhaps we had the same chain of thought on the matter.
Oh, God, you're very clever.
Well, it's rather obvious when you think about it.
Yeah, it took us 3 quite a while to figure it out. Have you spoken to anyone yet, or are you trying to find out incognito?
No, I've only just arrived myself. Please, lead the way.
Okay, we'll head up.
Well, Steel, looks like you got your wish for an extra fighter, if it comes to it.
Yeah, well, let's not start anything in the middle of the Ordo Magica in the middle of the day, shall we? This is information gathering.
Don't think we'll have the choice if it comes to it.
Yeah, that's fair. Just be ready.
Always.
Okay. Who is knocking on the door?
I'll go, I think, yeah.
Sure.
You're the most diplomatic of all of us. Well, no, you or Asker. I give no fucks.
The diplomatic one. Off finding out that you're in deep trouble. You kind of rap on the door. There is a kind of a knocker to knock on, and the door creaks open slowly. And first you're kind of taken aback, and then you realize you're looking entirely too high, because the person answering the door is a very short, very withered-looking old goblin who's kind of half hunched over, and he kind of creaks open the door and peers up at you and goes,
Sounds like the door. We were wondering if Master Vernum had cause to call in here over the last couple of days. We're looking for him with regards to investigating some ghoulish events in the town.
I don't see how the comings and goings of a master is of any concern to you. Who are you?
We're here on Night Pitcher's orders. I'll cut across to you at this point. We're here on Night Pitcher's orders. Do you really wish to defy the mayor?
Don't get all het up with me, young lady. Anyone can come here claiming they're here on Night Pitcher's orders.
Did we get anything from him?
Now, here's the thing. You were meant to, and I forgot.
Can we retcon that then?
No, it makes it difficult.
Nah.
Make Matt work for a living.
Let me work for it by making you work for it. That's fine. You didn't ask him for a handy certificate that lets you go anywhere you want.
No, certainly not.
Which is what you were meant to get. But it's fine. It's all fine. You're quick-witted. You can manage an elderly goblin.
We're also here under Captain Marvello's orders.
We have a lot of orders, and we can get a lot of confirmation from these people. But it would just be a waste of everyone's time. So either we could go in now and look around, or we get the confirmation, we come back, hours have passed, and you get older.
Give me a persuasive roll at +2.
Why do I keep on doing this?
I don't know.
Because you're the threatening one. Everyone else is just kind of will figure it out. You're like, I will either cut it in half or persuade it to be cut in half.
All right, +2, yeah?
Yeah, you can have a +2 for the help from the others.
Natural 20.
Oh.
Yeah, we did. Steve was asking if we got our weapons back from the guards, and I believe we did, didn't we? Yeah.
The goblin kind of peers at you and says, "Making cracks about my age. I'm not talking to her. You." He stabs a finger out at Askarai. "Take that mask off."
I take off my mask.
All right. So what is it you are proposing? You want to come in here, poke around?
I just want...
You want to speak to one of the masters? What is it? Speak up.
I just want to know if Master Vernum has visited. We're not here for your secrets, and we're not here for the hospitality. We just need to know.
Fine. He walks over to a book. Fine. Yes. Vernon was here last night.
Last night, was it? Okay.
Does that book say who he came to see?
He went to the ritual chamber.
Vernon was dead at this point, right? Just to
yeah.
Very dead.
Yeah.
Super dead, in pieces.
Still very dead.
Could we please go and visit the ritual chamber?
Not without one of the masters, you can't.
Look, I think we got what we need for the minute. Let's go back to... I think we want to run this back to Marvello. The captain of the guard is called Marvello, yes?
Yes.
Marvello, yes.
Marvello, yes. Sorry, I'm ruining my roleplay by forgetting everything. Right, I think we should...
You could ask for one of the masters.
Yeah, but
he's given you an option. That's all.
Here's my kind of logic. We've made a lot of progress right now. We've confirmed the fact that there is a skin changer of Vernum, and he's been in the Ordo Magica. This can't die with us. We need to make a report. That's my in-character logic for it.
You're unlikely to die in the middle of the day in the street. But I'm playing for you now, so by all means. Although also, I guess Steo doesn't have the final word on the matter. So
Yeah.
I think we need to, if we can possibly get in there. Or were there any masters in there last night that you know of?
There are many masters in here all the time.
But any in this ritual chamber last night?
I do not know. We do not log the masters where they walk around the tower at particular times. Are you mad?
I'm going to kind of lean over and just kind of mutter to Askerite and ask him if we can get a master to... I'd rather just look around ourselves. This guy is probably senile.
Okay.
I don't know how quiet I was with that character.
Please, can we go and visit this ritual chamber with a master? It really could be very dangerous for people in this building.
Barmello stood behind you, says, a matter of life and death, as it were. Sure, Askerai, roll. Persuasive.
No.
At a -2.
Okay, this is bad. I would have made it apart from the -2. I rolled a 4. My persuade is a 5.
Always spend an experience to reroll.
I just fail again. I'm trying to roll a 3.
Oh, wow. Okay. Fair enough. He says, well, I can ask Master Euphrinda, but you'll be waiting a while. He closes the door on you like...
Any nice benches in this garden?
Yeah, there's some benches, yeah.
I'll go and sit down.
You can watch the apprentices, troweling, etc., who will kind of look.
I really think I'll kind of get everyone else. I really think we need to get this run back at least to a guard.
I just think we could be hot on this thing's trail, and if we go back to a guard and then come back, who knows?
I just want to get this dealt with as soon as possible. I think that, as you know, Asteo, if your concern is that this will die with us, it would not. Mayor Nightpitch already, he seems trustworthy from what we've spoken to him. He doesn't seem under the influence of the crown, and he knows now. It would be easy for him to set a citywide manhunt if he wanted to, should we fail to complete the task. But I have every confidence that we'll be able to. There isn't a battle that we haven't won yet.
I've heard that from a lot of recruits who died on their 5th battle after winning 4. Look, let's do it if you're so confident. What say you, Barmello? If he's even still there.
He is. He's standing there, kind of
lurking like a big old creepy lurker.
Yeah, kind of gazing up at the tower, and he says, "We have time. The next victim may not."
Well, whatever happens, we're waiting.
After about 15 minutes, the door creaks open again, and a voice from inside says, "Where have you gone?"
Oh, resting the old legs. I'll heave myself up and make my way back to the door.
Oh, there you are. Euphrinda will see you.
Thank you very much.
In 6 hours.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, now we've got time.
You do. And on that note, back to Mike. All the hot transitions tonight. Mike, hi.
Hi.
So, you, I believe, are setting up. The question was: are you going to stay the night in Glimmervan, or are you going to ride home partially through the dark to get back before the end of the day?
As tempting as it is to get away from that damn minstrel as soon as possible, no, I think I will stay the night in Glimmervan, because I don't think that the urgency is quite there. And I guess I could stop off at Jacquard's Heart on the way back, potentially before it gets dark, but I think I'll just stay here so I don't have to eat any food out of that cauldron that I don't trust.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine. With you staying the night in Glimmervan, I'd say you return to Glimmervan Inn after all the business is taken care of. Is there anything you're going to do particularly, or just basically pass time in there?
Pass the time. I may take a look around the place a little bit more, because I don't really think I've done that yet. Just have a walk around the town.
It's more or less as you saw from the from the approach. There's the inn, there's like a trading post, a small kind of crafting market, and a couple of crafting stores, and other than that, just kind of houses scattered. But it's really not very big at all. So
yeah, I would imagine I would spend the rest of the time then in the inn, maybe sort of making some notes. I presume that I would keep records of this sort of stuff, and probably trying to stay out of the way of is it Blackhart the minstrel?
Blackhawk, yes.
Blackhawk,
yes.
Sorry, yeah.
Father Anton.
Why did I say anything?
He sits down rather heavily at the table next to you. How are you finding Glimmervan, sir?
Well, it is an interesting place, that is for sure. But unfortunately, my time here is coming to an end, and I must. Okay, my good man.
I'm fine. Merely briefly overcome by the muse.
Yes, of course. Anyway, as I was saying, I must be returning to Thistlehold first thing in the morning. So you can enjoy my company tonight, but after that, I fear our paths may not cross that much.
Oh, I'm sure our paths will cross again, dear priest. I come to Thistlehold quite a lot, you know. Well known there in all the taverns and all the inns. Yes. Witch and Familiar is where you stay, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. I've made that my temporary.
Perhaps I will set myself up there for a few months.
Okay. I'm making a mental note that I must speak to Keller about alternative arrangements.
Still spending some time with the barbarian redhead.
Well, I may see her again. By the sounds of things, you may see her again.
We shall see. He knocks back another flagon of the mead he's been drinking, and then says, "Duty calls," and walks over by the fire and starts launching into a rendition of a popular ballad with his lute.
Fantastic, and not at all torturous.
He's quite good. He's quite good.
No, I just meant the interaction with him was torturous. Okay.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, I will.
He's your best friend, Mike. I don't know what you're.
Back into the shadows and try to remain inconspicuous.
Sure. Yes, he spends most of the evening singing, so there's nothing extra there for us to pick up on, unless there's anything else you want specifically to do as Anton. I basically just hopped back so that you wouldn't feel ignored for the entire session, because I'm that lovely. But if there's nothing else especially, then we will pop back to the others and see what's going on back in Thistlehold. So you've got 6 hours to kill. Where are you going? That'll take you to the late afternoon.
Yeah, that's my opportunity to go and report this up the chain, I think.
Do you think you'd stick together at this point, or are you kind of splitting up for 6 hours?
I don't think we all need to go and report it, but at the same time, I'm not sure what else we would do.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine to just go about your business. I mean, you've probably got things to take care of. Reporting back to the agency, perhaps. Yeah, any number of things, like you don't all, and not everything has to be story driven. So if Steo's going back to reports, let's yeah, sure. Elle, what are you doing?
Yes.
What are you going to do with the free 6 hours?
So Steo's going to report to the guard. I'm just going to.
Balmello has said he's going to meet you back at the Auto Magica, by the way.
Actually, I'm going to make a suggestion. Effie, you're more likely to be able to survive the salons of Symbaroum than I am at this time in an afternoon. Would you consider going to check? What was the name of the guy, the sellsword? Alcared, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
See if you can catch up with him on the off chance he turns up.
That is a good plan, my friend. Yes. Happy to do that. So that's what I will do for the next 6 hours.
Do you want to go with her, Ascari?
Yeah, I can't think of anything else. It's better use of my time.
Okay.
I will, if I'm finished quickly, I will swing gingerly by the salons to pick you up. If not, I'll see you back here.
In 6 hours, then.
So, Steo, who are you going back to Marvello to report this?
Yeah, unless I can find Diriak, he should be in the north. So I'll probably do a surreptitious route.
Within 6 hours, you can definitely find Dirac. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll track him down. I think I'll go to him first.
Sure. Okay. You find him kind of basically wandering the streets, but patrolling. Sure. Patrolling, talking to people, getting free food. Usual cop stuff. And then. Yeah, he kind of sees you approaching and gives kind of grunts as he starts wolfing down some kind of dark fantasy kebab. Not a term I wanted to say today, I'll be honest with you. Or ever.
You got a minute, boss? Got some couple of breakthroughs. We made a report to Marvello earlier because it was a bit early for you.
All right.
But we got some more stuff since. So the flare, yeah. Skin changer.
The fuck, what does that mean?
Do you not hear about these?
Mouthful.
Yeah. Do you not get told about these as a kid? It might just be a southern thing.
It's just you.
Yeah. So right, okay, this is like fairy tale stuff, but apparently we've had this verified now. We've had it verified by the mayor on top of all the other people we've been speaking to today. It's been a carousel of torture. But right, every time he kills, the Flayer can adopt the form of his victim. So if you go back and you check, and I was down in the crypt, I talked to your man, the corpse keeper. The skins found at each of the bodies are different from the skins of the people who were flayed, and it's always off by one. Yeah, I said that. I said that as well, except in a puddle.
Your sense of timing, as always, is fucking immaculate.
Look, we're on the clock here, but I wanted to let you know. Vernum checked into the Auto Magica yesterday. A full day and a half after he died.
Right. Seems to me we should go looking for the first one then, yes?
The first one to come into the town?
No, somewhere there's a body without a skin.
Oh, God.
Keep up. He uses an extremely offensive barbarian term and like just taps top of your head.
Oh, come on. I just check people in, mate. I don't do this detective work.
Right. Well, the first one who was identified killed is Garrick. But from what you say, that body wasn't Garrick. That was just his skin. Yes?
Yeah. Okay, I'm with you.
All right. I'll do some digging about Garrick and get back to you. Maybe his body is in somewhere he lived or something.
Somewhere Garricky.
Somebody
Okay.
works.
We're going to go in. We're going to go to the Auto Magical later and see what we turn up. Next time you see me, I might be in pieces. But sure, look, we all have to die sometime.
All right. I'll see you later. And next time, try and make fucking sure I haven't got a mouthful of something. Yes?
Look, I'm sure that's top quality meat and not at all made from skin. I'll take my leave.
He flings a colourful curse your way and strolls onwards. You head to the salons of Symbaroum afterwards, and I realise this might feel like cheating you out of a really exciting scene, but I can confidently say you do not find Alcared at the salons of Symbaroum. So rather than have you go through, role-playing, going into the salons, asking about Alcared, not getting any responses, we'll just say that, Steo, you walk into the salons as Ephaneir and Ascarai are coming out.
Perfect timing.
Muted. There we go.
Not more. Basically, as soon as I see them coming about, I will make almost a perfect drill sergeant 180 and start heading the opposite direction, just to make my disdain for that place very clear.
I'll just kind of, slight jog to catch up with him, and just, I hope you are more successful than me and Ascarai, completely fruitless.
Yeah, so I called in with Derek, of all people, and he made a good point. You know how we're kind of off by one with the skins? Well, he wants to know what the deal with Derek is and whose body that was. So he's going to the start of the chain, we're going to the end of the chain.
Well, it's not. Yeah, it's not it's more bodies missing than identifying an extra body. If you get what I mean. Because Garrick's skin was found, and that's how the first victim was identified. But clearly, that wasn't Garrick's body. So that was Len's body. So where is Garrick's body? Is the idea he was putting forth.
Good.
Can you all give me a vigilant roll, please?
Yeah, we do need a flow chart for this, actually.
Just a flat one, yeah?
Just a flat one.
I make it. Just.
I made it.
Nope.
Okay. There is... those of you who do make it, notice that there is a small crowd forming off a kind of small side alleyway that runs off Toad Square, where we are. In fact, why not have the Toad Square picture up to remind us, please, John? Because the salons are, of course, in Toad Square.
Gods above, there is one thing I have learned from this past few days. It's that when there's a crowd gathering in Toad Square, it's never a good thing.
You sound like a guard.
You hear a kind of slight wailing noise and a distant voice says, it's the Flayer. The Flayer has struck again.
Oh, God.
And there we go.
Fuck.
Let's go, lads. It's switcheroo time. Who have we got this time in the skin bingo? Oh, God.
Skingo. Someone's died.
Steel's done.
You wander along this. There's a fair crowd forming now. And there's like about 5 watchmen and a sergeant you recognize called Milos, who is trying to keep the crowd back. Who are mostly at bay, but they're kind of peering around into an alleyway down which seems to be a set of small stables.
Do you need a hand there, Milos?
Yeah, will you pull them back from here?
Yeah, I'll kind of do the old crowd control thing.
Start to yank people back a bit.
Yeah. I'll also try and make sure that Effie and Askarai can kind of not be pushed back.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm gonna try and slip past, get a closer look.
Okay, well let's see how effective this is. Sorry, Elle, what are you helping pull people back or trying to nip through?
I'm helping with the pulling of the people.
That seems appropriate. So if Steo and F and A give me a strength roll, and Askarai, give me a discreet roll, please.
Oh,
Actually, discreet or quick. It's up to you.
Okay, my discreet is a bit better.
Yes, I make the strength roll.
Oh, I make the strength.
Very
Yay!
good.
Yeah, you just start yanking people back, and they're kind of going, all right, I'm off.
God, nothing to say
Kind of
here.
Scatter back a bit. There's still a crowd, but they're kind of hanging back a bit now. Askarai, you've already nipped through and slipped by the sergeant. You can see there's a small stable, surprisingly close to the street. Inside it, you can see something large hanging upside down from the rafter.
Is it human-sized?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There's also a guardswoman kind of leaning against the outside of the entrance to the stable, kind of very much looking away from the hanging body and sort of.
Can I get a bit closer and see if there's any skin?
Yeah, you can get all the way. She's not stopping you. She seems to be kind of trying to catch herself a bit.
I'm gonna move closer and see if I can see any skin on the ground or hung up or on the body or anywhere.
You can see, as you would expect, there is a human body hanging upside down, hung from the rafter. It's skinned from its feet to its waistline. And the skin that has been taken off the flesh there is still attached and is hanging upside down over the torso like some kind of obscene flower. The guardswoman glances over to you and says, "You with Steo?"
Yeah. When did you find this? When was it found?
I stumbled upon it about 10 minutes ago. Well, I stumbled on them.
Them?
I caught him in the act. That's why I didn't finish.
Where is he?
She's kind of half bent over, sort of taking deep breaths. Pushed past me and ran for it into the crowd. Wouldn't have thought it. Didn't exactly look like a fighter. At this point, Steo, F and A, you can have moved past the sergeant and the other guards and walked over. You know the guardswoman Steo. She's called Katara.
Katara. Oh God, did you see that and all, Katara?
Found it.
Oh, delightful, aren't they? This will be my third.
Yeah, got a good look at the Slayer as well.
Oh yeah.
Slayer, I'm doing it now.
Oh,
The Flayer
yeah.
Slayer. No, you need a Flayer Slayer. That's what you guys are.
Do you recognize
Slayer,
them?
F and it.
He's a timid-looking fellow. Robe, glasses.
Vernon.
Walked in on him at work with a knife. Glared at me and, God, so calm.
Well,
I screamed out for the other guards. He stopped, battered past me and limped off.
yeah, he's a spicy one. Well, at least he didn't finish, so he's still, whatever we're looking for, it's still Vernon.
And we know who. Well, we might be able to find out who this is.
I've seen it. He's just a stable boy. Another one was a stable boy.
I'm going to turn to the female guards woman and say, did you say limped off?
Aye, he looks to be wounded in the leg.
Well, that means he may not have gotten far then.
Mine's is probably still limping as well.
Aye.
Come on, let's go. How long ago was this?
Are you not going to kind of investigate the crime scene in any sense? Or are you nipping straight off?
I think it's kind of time critical. The Steel thinks it's time critical.
Yeah, sure.
But I am asking.
The body's not going anywhere for the moment, right?
Yeah, F&A is of the same opinion as Steel. Like, if there's a chance that they
Sure.
can catch Vernon right now.
Yeah. Well, she's just kind of pointed in the direction of the square, which obviously goes in many different directions. But anyone who's determinedly looking to try and track any kind of disturbance can give me a vigilant roll at -5.
Ooh.
I think I would first look around the scene, not of the body, but to see if there was a signs of blood leading away from it. Kind of, I guess that's what.
Sure, same roll.
I do not make the vigilant roll.
Me neither.
What? I'm not even making it. This is not. Steel's kind of in action mode rather than investigation mode for the first time in a while.
No, but this is the action one, because where are you going to go otherwise? Like,
okay,
you're
unless
looking
it's
Toad. This is 10 minutes ago, and it's Toad Square. It's really busy. So
that's a pass.
Sure, you see some splatters of blood on the ground leading out into the square.
Okay, follow them.
All right. Are all three of you together?
Aye.
Yeah.
Sure. You kind of not scatter, but you all bunch together and try and make your way through Toad Square. Really quite difficult, especially now a crowd is forming on the outside of that alleyway. And you track the blood trail basically over to the other side of on the other side of the square, where it seems to reach essentially a dead end. It just the trail stops by flush at a wall.
Any stalls or like things that would be static for like the last couple of hours around?
No, not really. There's a bit of a gap around here, and it's kind of in a little side passageway that's a bit more private. There aren't many people walking through it.
Just our luck. How tall is the wall? Is it a 2-story thing, or is it?
It's about 1.5 stories. Ascarai, give me a cunning roll.
Okay. I make it.
Whoever traveled across the rooftops at speed when you tracked them away from the academy could definitely scale this wall.
I think you went up there. Why don't you give me a boost?
I'll fall in.
Sure. Can you give me Sam oh god, I don't know. I don't think discreet, because I think discreet counts for like acrobatics and dexterity and stuff as well.
I think it's quick, doesn't it?
Is it? Maybe it is. Yeah, sure. Let's go with quick. Let's get a quick roll, Ascarai, and you can take a +2 for being boosted by Steo as well.
Cool. I make it.
Okay. You scramble up onto the roof, immediately find like a blood splatter, literally put your hand in it as you climb over on the other side. On the flat floor of this roof, that makes sense, floor of the roof, you can see a stretch of like robe seems to have been torn off and is all bloody and kind of dropped on the ground.
I will kind of cool down. He definitely came up here. There's a part of his robe.
Could you see where he went afterwards? And throw that robe down, would you?
I'll probably kick the robe down off the roof rather than pick it up.
Sure.
And have a look around to see if there's any sign of where he might have gone.
Okay, give me a vigilant roll. At again at -5.
I rolled a 1.
Okay.
Two,
In that
right?
case,
Nice.
you are 100% sure that you can't see any tracks. But you're sure, at least, right? You
Yeah.
know.
There's no sign
You
of him at
scour the
all.
rooftop. You can't find any further tracks.
There's nothing. There's just the rope.
You suspect that what's happened is that they've used that robe to
Clean up.
bandage themselves up, or at least wipe off and put it down and then bandage, and that's why they're not leaving a trail.
Right.
Is this the side of the square that you would get to coming from the rooftop? Like, is it? Is this on the same side as where the Master Vernum's was?
The trail from Master Vernum's, though you lost it before you got to Toad Square, was heading in approximately the direction of where you are now, yeah. Or like the two directions would meet.
Yeah.
Not in a kind of, if we pinpoint to the exact building, not in that much of a thing.
But somewhere
but you have a general idea
yeah.
that somewhere on the outskirts of Toad, the southern outskirts of Toad Square, somewhere along, maybe along a street called something which I don't have immediately.
Some very good stalling.
Somewhere
A++.
it's
beautiful.
Because that's where he's...
There is a street called Haloban's Ring that delimits the block surrounding the Toad Square. To cross it at night can be a mistake. It is definitely the most dangerous street in Thistlehold. In the day, fine. Even the guards avoid it at night.
Ascari, get back down here. Do I know of people using bloodhounds for finding shit?
No.
So this bloody lump of robe is completely useless.
No. We do have. What about, as much as I'm loath to suggest slaves, Balmello seems to have his little weird psychic boy.
This is pretty grim, but I'll keep it on me for the meanwhile, and we'll show it to Balmello, I suppose.
I think we should try and go and get him. If we can find him.
I'd say that you're 6 hours and now more or less up. And he did say meet with the Ordo Magica, so
we'll head over.
Would it be prudent to investigate the crime scene a little further before say it's almost the 6 hours but not quite?
Yeah, you could definitely have a wee look around.
It's on the way.
Should we investigate the crime scene a tad more before we go meet Balmello and report?
Yeah, let's go have a rummage. Sure, it's on the way.
Yeah.
Okay. You return to the crime scene and quickly let through kind of by the guards. Kitara is still there and she looks over and says, anything?
Hold up the bloody robe. He got on the roof, bandaged his wounds and ran off.
Are you on this?
Not officially.
Right. Well, you better have a look around then.
Thanks. Take a rummage, I suppose, and kind of tie Ascari to a stick and wave him over stuff because he's got the better stats for this.
Sure. Well, why don't we have, if you're just kind of helping Ascari then, why don't we have a vigilant test from Ascari with a +2 for help from the others?
Cool. I rolled a 19.
Strictly speaking, not as bad as it could be.
No. No, you don't find anything particularly helpful in the stable.
All right.
Right, keep on moving.
Back to the Ordo Magica.
All
right. It takes you a fair amount of time to walk through Thistlehold. It's kind of the end of the working day, so the streets are quite crowded. But eventually you get there. Balmello is already stood by the doorway. The door is open, and the wizened old goblin is in there kind of peering out. And Balmello says, I told you, here are my companions now.
They're not late, are we?
The goblin peers and says, like 4 of you. Wait here. Slams the door.
I'll turn to Balmello and just be like, Have you heard?
Heard?
There's been another. We were actually wondering if we could use your aid. Your boy seemed able to
Oh, yes. Tear.
discern things when last we saw him. We have a scrap of what we believe is the killer's clothing, recently soaked in blood.
It is possible that he could do something with that if given the proper motivation.
What would motivate him?
He just smiles slightly. The door reopens. There's no sign of the goblin, but there is a sign of a very large woman who's standing there with her arms crossed, wearing a robe of the Ordo Magica, glaring at you all and smoking a pipe. Can we have the picture of Euphrinda, please?
I like her.
She says, well, don't just stand there. What do you want?
We'd like to take a look at the ritual room. We think Master Vernon was here, and we think he was here on false pretenses.
I can't say I approve of Vernon having left the order, but he's a all right sort. Why would he be here on false pretenses?
He might
Speak up.
He might have been the subject of a shape changing.
Seems far-fetched.
He was
is
killed.
This Night Pitch's business?
It is the guard's business. It is Night Pitch's business. Unfortunately, it has become Thistlehold's business.
Oh, fine. Follow me. She turns on her heel and just starts striding away with no sense of waiting for you whatsoever.
Cool. Bundle in after her.
Yeah.
You, as I say, the tower is very tall. At the very center of it, there are kind of rooms around the edge, but the very center is an extremely large iron and wood spiral staircase, which seems to rise up almost further than you can see. She starts tramping up that with no kind of explanation or waiting for you in any way, and expects you to follow.
Do my best.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You walk up past kind of multiple floors. As I said, there's 7 stories to the building, and the ritual chamber seems to be on the very top. You pass multiple doorways where kind of scholarly-looking people are scratching away with quills or playing with odd-shaped bits of glass, until you come to the very top, which has a very large wooden door, which she gets a huge set of keys out from kind of up from her belt, unlocks it, pushes it open with a slam, and strides up the last few stairs into what seems to be a large circular chamber, which is punctuated around the walls with lots and lots of bookshelves. And on a plinth kind of by the doorway is a book, which Euphrinda kind of opens and starts flicking through, going, Vernum, 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 Vernum.
Yesterday night would have been.
She peers like over her pipe at you in a kind of I know that sort of way, and then glances back down and says, Vernum, 1 book. Seems like he wants to carry out some kind of ritual.
What was the book?
The Breaking of Links.
Oh, that sounds spicy.
Separates individuals from supernatural, magical, possibly corruptive influences.
That sounds like an absolutely stellar alibi, doesn't it? He was looking for this to break the crown's curse. So someone wants the crown and wants the capability. Is the book still here? Did he leave with it, do you think? No one should be able to leave with these books. These are proper valuable, aren't they?
He's a member of the Ordo Magica. Almost.
Former, yeah. I'm a guard. Almost.
Yes, the books can be taken out from here. Clearly, he has it. And from what you're saying, he is not him.
Yes. Unfortunately, he was killed and flayed 2 days prior.
That's just awful. Well, are you going to get this book back?
We're going to try. We've a small list of things we need to get back for various people. We'll happily add your book to it.
All right. Well, we'll expect it back forthwith then. Good day.
Not jump.
Still like her, Elle, or...
I suppose we should go then, should we? Come on, lads. Let's. I don't think we're going to get much more here, unless you got anything, Barmello.
Barmello is kind of looking around the ritual chamber with interest and says, "No, I think I have everything I need."
Oh, so sinister.
Scary.
Our best
Yeah.
bet probably
Mike,
head back to Toad
if you're
Square.
wondering why there's less and less Mike, it's because he is having internet issues. But that's fine. It's fine. You know, tension, etc. You walk down the stairs, presumably leave the Ordo Magica.
Yeah.
Is that correct? That about right?
Yep.
Yep. Yeah.
So, Barmello, I'll give him a tap on. Give him a.
Yes.
They caught Vernum in the act. Did we tell you about this already? He was halfway
Yes,
through.
I think so. Yeah.
He was halfway through flaying, but he didn't finish it, and he took a wound to the leg. So he's still around, and he's now walking with a limp, and he still looks like Vernum, although he's trying to look like someone innocuous by the sound of things.
All right.
Well, that's where we got to, I suppose. We'll wait for another victim, or unless anyone else has any other good ideas for something we could follow through with.
Well, the way he was going and the way he left from Master Vernum's, we know what kind of area he might be hiding in, or at least operating in. Somewhere between Toad Square and the dump, in that area.
Dangerous part of town.
A voice calls out from the crowd, "Steo, get your fucking ass over here."
Is that Derek? Does it sound like Derek?
Derek, yeah.
Okay. Come on, lads. This is going to be interesting, I hope.
Right.
He walks over. He glances slightly venomously at Barmello and then says, "All right. Never say I don't fucking give you anything." Garrick. He was a trapper. He was, fortunately for us, known to the fucking guards. He frequently operated out of, or was arrested at least once on the premises of an abandoned trading post called, kind of flicks through some notes, Blue Moon. Halaban's Ring.
Has Ascarai already mentioned Halaban's ring to us?
Halaban's Ring was, well, I don't know.
Yes.
Has Ascarai mentioned? You're
I'm
on
Mute.
I'm happy
Sam,
to
you're on mute.
I would have mentioned the area that it is, so I guess that would be Halaban's Ring.
I'm happy to
recognise
make a
it,
roll
right
to
there.
connect 2 and 2, but I'm pretty sure I know that's what we're talking about.
I think Ascarai would certainly come to the conclusion.
Yeah. I think we know where we need to head.
Yeah. This could get messy. Derek, have you got any boys you want to send round? We can all go together.
That's why I'm paying you, isn't it?
Oh, man.
You can take care of it. What with this notorious individual here? He puts his notes back into his pockets, shoots another glance at Barmello and walks off. Barmello looks over at the three of you brightly and says, "Yes, don't worry. We'll be absolutely fine. Not to worry. I have your back."
That's what we got.
And I think we'll end that there this week.
I mean, I'm hoping he doesn't mean like literally, like
I have your back in my pocket. All the skin. Cool. Let's have Mike back. Yes, Mike had internet issues, and also just by the vagaries of this session, I guess didn't have much to do, unfortunately. But hopefully, he enjoyed that, and wasn't just sat there crying or
like crying when my internet went down. But yeah, I did enjoy it. Yeah, apart from the bit with Blackhawk.
Absolutely. Yeah, as per usual, if anyone in chat has any kind of comments or questions or anything like that to fling our way, please do so. The usual promotion-y stuff again. All our social media is linked below in the About It bit. And our VODs, if you're not already watching this on a VOD on YouTube, that can be found on YouTube. Again, link below. We've got a Patreon, link below. Go take a look at that. Yeah, I think that's about it. We also have another series ongoing on Twitch for Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition called London Ascendant. That takes place currently on Monday evenings at 8 o'clock GMT. Please do come join us for that. Yeah, there we go. I think, John, have we got anything to pop up? And feel free to come on screen for these bits, John, if you want, or not. It's all fine. Mike's internet issues were actually an attempt to avoid Black Hawk songs. I mean, very well done, if so.
I think Black Hawk is becoming the actual true villain of this story.
You pronounced hero wrong?
I'm sure he'll be the hero in the song, yeah.
Yeah. The song he writes, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Secretly Gorak. It's his alter ego.
Secretly Bad Mellow. That would be a turn up. Yeah. So how are we how are we feeling about this situation?
Oh, dead, basically. Looking forward to premiering my new character.
At this stage, Chris talks about that so much, I think he's secretly hoping for it.
I kind of am. Still, like, I don't like playing police officers.
And on that hot button topic, it doesn't look like there's any comments or questions this week. So thank you, as usual, to the wonderful players. Thank you to John for being our wonderful stream manager. Thank you to me. Sure, I did, because I did something, didn't I? I helped. And we'll see you next week for more Symbaroum at 8 o'clock next Wednesday. Thanks for watching, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.